Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. There's that inventory correction we're looking for. Oh boy, it's been a good week. So I was building a 36, 37 position, selling 38, 39. And if you are long 5, 10, 15, 20 contracts at 36 to 38, you should be blasting them out now. You can keep a few runners and look for the 47s, but there's going to be a seller just at 45 and a quarter. So the reason why in the comments I was saying, in the room I was saying, you know, I was talking about building positions and you'll see maybe 1% of the people who actually were on that video will actually remember what I said because people have very short attention spans. And I'll get questions, JJ, how do you build a position? Did you watch the video? Yeah? Did you not see where I told you? No? Right? Focus, concentration, folks. That's what you got to do. Well, welcome to the Trading Syndicate. I'm JJ. I'm vwaptrader1 on X. Right, Eddie. You're a character, man. I always wonder what you look like. Okay. Oh, speaking of, let's go look and see what equities are doing this morning. I haven't taken a look. Well, we finally got a liquidation. Finally got one. After days and days, we had one liquidation break, trend up. Now we have another liquidation break. So yesterday, our friend Reg was saying he wanted to take a short, and I said, yeah, it's beautiful. Short the backfill, because usually at night you can usually get lower. And this was a beautiful trade because it was a look above and fail of 75.11. Target is 73.91. Now it doesn't have to go to 73.91, but you can use these levels, right? So if you're short 74.96, you can take some off at 81. You can take some off at 66. You can take some off at 51. And the reason why I'm saying that is because a lot of people complain that I'm a scalper, right? But to take a 50, 60 point trade, you kind of need something called skill. Skill is something that doesn't come naturally. So you're not going to take this and put 30 grand in your pocket if you can't make 50 to $100 every day, right? You're not just going to magically make $50,000 in a day if you have no clue what you're doing. So the look above and fail, the look below and fail, those trades, we show you how to do it on a 1-minute chart. Think of that as learning how to ride a bicycle with training wheels. Then we take the training wheels off and you start trading the mini, right? Then you can try adding size once you get consistent. So let me put this into language you guys can understand. So if you're riding your bicycle with training wheels and you drive your bicycle with training wheels off a cliff, you're not ready to build positions, hold trades longer, and add size. Does that make sense? Do you guys understand the analogy? Come on, guys, give me something. I got crickets here. Okay? Because I tell people that you got to build skill, and it just kind of just whistles right through between their ears, right? In one ear, out the other. And then 3 weeks later, they're like, JJ, I blew up my account because I kept trying to buy the dip, right? So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to explain things in ways you guys can understand. Because like when Raj says cash is a position, professional traders know that cash is a position. Retail traders are like, what the hell does that mean, right? So if I use the bicycle with training wheels example, maybe you'll get it, right? So if you don't take the bicycle and drive it off a cliff, right, then you're getting better, right? Now, if you take the training wheels off and you drive the bicycle off a cliff, right, you need to start again, right? The reason I'm talking about this is because I have a trader in our room and he has a bad habit of blowing up accounts. And every time I get him back on track, I can always tell he starts messaging me, oh, I'm getting angry. How do I add to a trade that I'm not making money in? How do I do this? How do I do this? And I know, oh God, he's going to blow up, right? You know he's going to blow up just by the nature of the questions that he's asking you, which means everything I told him for the last 6 months has just been flushed out of his head, right? Like he just drank a whole bunch of liquid plumber, right? So that's what I'm trying to avoid is having you guys lose money unnecessarily, okay? So inventory is very short. It's probably, what, 95% short, right? So we're getting a correction higher off the overnight low. Let's go take a look. 97% short inventory. And here we go. Now, are we going to open in these single prints? Probably, right? So we'll see where we open. A lot of short covering. Look at this. And I drew a volume profile from 74.70 down to the low. Check it out. The position is here. We're going to take that and go sell it up here, right? Repetition is key, Terrence. Repetition, repetition, repetition. Right? It's the only way you guys are going to learn to do something is to learn how to do one thing properly and repeat it over and over and over again. And I know it's boring. You're making $50 to $100 a day, and everybody else is going, "Oh, I just made 30 grand. Oh, I just made 50 grand. Look at my new Lamborghini," and they're standing next to somebody else's car. And they're all just full of shit. Don't fall for that, right? Beautiful inventory correction before the open ALC, just like the old days. Now let's see where these guys sell into it. Learn how to make small amounts of money. And more important than that, learn how to keep it. No use making $25,000, $30,000 trading if the next day you lose 50 grand. Know what I mean, Jelly Bean? You made a new mattress, you didn't buy one. LC, that's hilarious. Right? So yeah, LC was long 37 exactly. We were long where wholesale was long. That's why we wait for the point of control to drop down, and we get long where wholesale's long. And as the market goes up, we sell into the strength and book profits. Now he held a lot longer than I did, which is cool, right? But I did a couple of contracts, made a quick 350 bucks. And that takes the edge off the open, you know? So you're not desperate at the open, right? You're not desperately trying to make money off the open. That's what Globex is, a beautiful thing. Now we know that we have sellers at 54. We're starting to clean out those sellers. Now I'll see what do we do with these singles when we open? I'm just going to leave them up. It has to open above them to hold them all. Otherwise, I'll just bring them down a bit from where we open. Yeah, you got to sell into strength. It's okay to keep runners, right? That was a beautiful inventory correction. Let me just get to the swapping profile. There we go. Nice clean chart. The destination is 63, just under VWAP. There will be sellers on the way up. They were there before, they'll be there again. Wow, not bad. We're going to go open above the singles. So the late covering shorts, look how they came in when we took out that 41.5. And how many times have I told you guys, right? What happens? Shorts come in and buy, wholesale buys, we buy, and the idiot shorts who short here, when they realize they're screwed, they come in. And that's why you get those big green candles. The dumb money shorts come barreling in, right? Off we go. Filling some singles. So we had the correction to inventory before the market opened. Okay? Now they're going to sell into it. They're going to find the bid. So before we take a trade now, like we took a trade and we sold into strength. What's the next order of business is to find that bid, right? And wait. Fill those singles, so those singles are gone now, right? The overnight point of control is down here at 37. So the trade I would look at, if you're short, that's beautiful. You're looking for bids around 41, 42. Okay? And even though inventory is short, we already cracked it a little bit. So if you're going to go long, you want to wait for an edge, right? Good trade, Jam. Now, Jam, remember, don't get excited and start over trading, okay? All right? Don't get excited and start over trading. Long 46, out 48 and 3/4 on one. Now I'm going to wait and see if we hold those 46s again. Do we hold 48? Give it some time. Yeah. There's that 46.45. Do we bid? So if we lose that 44, 45 bid, you are going to be looking for 41. That's why I like to wait for the edge. The position is underneath 41. Okay, we know that we had a volume profile. You can see it here. The position's at 37, right? So you want to look for a look below and fail of 41.5 if you want to go long. The market is looking for buyers. Let it come in and find that bid. See 41.5 to the tick, but let it go underneath. Let it get into the cost basis. Wait for the wholesalers to see that short bid and lift the offer. And that's not happening yet, right? That's not happening. So just chill out. Now we're into that cost basis. There we go, right? There's that 36, 37. Let them sell it. There's a stop down here at 32, right? You want to see if it takes that 32. There should be a little front running before the overnight low, okay? Let them liquidate. We're right back into cost basis, right? Now, one thing that I've messed up on is the short, right? Even shorting 40 against 41 would have been a nice quick trade, right? Fixated a little too much on the long because inventory is 97% short, right? So you can see my bias creeping in, right? Yeah, unfortunately, my friend, exit liquidity, I don't look at the NQ. I got to start paying more attention to it. But not a lot of people ask me about it, you know? Not a lot of people ask me about the NQ. So I'm long 30, where am I? Long 37. Okay, and I'm selling. I'm selling them like I sold them, people. I'm selling them like I sold them. Two at a time, two at a time, two at a time. Right, I got 4 left. Right, and I am flat. Thank you very much. Goodbye. I bought the 36s. We came into position. The POC was there. I went long where wholesale went long. See? My risk was fairly tight. Fast trade, right? And I bought a few. And as soon as it went up, I'm out, right? If you're not comfortable with trading a quick market, Aaron, you're doing a very smart thing. You size down. Size down and trade less. That's using the old peanut. Welcome, folks, on YouTube. Thanks for being with us. I'm JJ, vwaptrader1. Nice to have you with us. And our job at the Trading Syndicate is to make real people real money without overcomplicating this, right? Right? We look after the little guy in this room, right? That's our goal. Now, we're going to sit here and try and pick up inventory. Why am I long biased? Because inventory is short, right? Long bias because inventory is short. And so sometimes I miss the short, but that's okay. Right? I like the counter trend trade, or after inventory has corrected itself. While we're down here, you know what would be healthy is to go do the look below and fail of that overnight low. That would be a wicked trade, right? If we can take out the 30s and rip back up, that would be a nice trade. Because then we're going to flush out all the people who are using this as their stop. Really shake the tree, so to speak, right? Get all the low-hanging fruit. Tuesdays, Pock. Tuesdays, Pock. Friday, Thursday. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh. Yeah, that last trade was nice. I put on a little size there at 36, but I was very quick to get rid of it. Here we go. Come on, 30. We took that stop. The old client should be happy about that. Yeah, just chill out, watch to find that. It's Friday. You don't want to kill yourself on a Friday. Nice and easy, right? Typically, I mean, there's good opportunity today, but if Fridays are slow, I'm a big believer in taking Friday off and having a 3-day weekend. It's not something I do, but man, it feels nice when you do. You know, the goal of every retail trader is to work 4 days a week. 4 days a week, have Friday off, go do something fun. Where's Cape Cod Kevin? Go sailing with Kevin, like a Kennedy, off of Cape Cod. Come on, it's summer. Gotta have some fun. There you go, Kevin, right? Take out the sloop. Or if you're LC, you'll be at the Rye Country Club. Well, I don't have a boat, so what I have to do is I have to find friends who have a boat. Much better to have friends who have a boat than to buy a boat yourself. You save a lot of money. I always trade with limit orders. I never use market orders. I will use the flattened key if I'm in trouble. Uh, but I never market order in. No, That's not how we're taught in the business, right? We're taught to buy on the bid and sell on the offer, right? So as soon as my bid gets filled, right, I'll put in my buy. Like say I buy 36, and I put in my 34 stop. I'll be out of that trade by 38, 39, because I know there's going to be a seller. So what I do is I put in my buy order, and I put in my stop. As soon as that buy order gets hit, I go and I put the sell orders in. So when the market goes up, it takes me out. And it's a lot easier. See, if I was long 36, I'd be out by 41, right? Beautiful. So they're playing games with us on that overnight low. Let's see where these characters sell into it now. These white lines, if you're looking, that's where the sellers are, folks. You always want to mark where the sellers were before. The sellers is a little secret that nobody will tell you. The sellers are at the top of these candles. That's where they start and compete and push price down. Right? That's competition. Right? So if you have 1,000 contracts and Jimmy's got 1,000 contracts and Kevin's got 2,000 contracts and you're all selling at the same level, well, there's only so many customers to go around, right? So you're going to have to price compete. That's just the way it is. I cannot believe we're not taking out that overnight low. That's morally incorrect. Come on, guys. Look at how much short covering there is here. Every time we start tickling those 34s, those 32s, here we go. Come on. Somebody comes in and just gobbles it all up. If you show them some size, I think we're going to break that overnight low. Come on, come on, come on. There we go. Come on. My grandmother hits bids harder than this. Come on. Memorial Day, really? Wow. Feels like we just had Memorial Day. Man, this year is just ripping. Hey, Holo One, ¿qué pasa? They're playing with us here, right? I don't like front running a level. I like the level to break and then come back up and hold. Yeah, there's a lot of short covering here. All right. I think it's gonna break. Come on, be normal, be normal, be normal. Come on. Oh, you dirty little. Oof. And what I'm looking for is when we break that overnight low, if we can, right? I want to see the reaction. Do we sell down to like 26 and then pop back up? How much follow through do we get? There, look at that. Oh, one tick. You cheap bastards. There we go. Come on. There we go. This is what I'm looking for. Now we have some stops. Where are the stops? Oh yeah, the C low of the 13th. Down here at 22. Okay. No interest in going long right now until we get over 30, right? No reason to. Let them sell it. Let the market find the bid. This is what we call price exploration. You don't want to get in the way of price exploration. See, as soon as we took out that overnight low, anyone who was using that as a stop, they all came tumbling out of the clown car, right? Yeah, it's good price action for quick scalps, long and short. You just got to be quick, right? Now, those of you who aren't quick, right? Those of you who aren't quick, don't worry. You're going to work on that and eventually you will be quick. Okay? But it's just a matter of practice, right? It's understanding how the business works, trading at the edge, and then it's just repetition of the same trade over and over and over and over again, right? You'll get there. I remember in 2012 to 2014, even to 2015, it was a struggle. Those 3 years were horrible. I couldn't do anything right, right? Yeah, the orders book's a little. They're going to be playing with us a little bit, Elsie. Fills aren't really the best sometimes in these markets. There's that 22 stop. There's that 22 stop. A little lower. Yes, please. Next stop will be 12. Okay. Remember the look above and fail of 75.11 targets 73.91. Okay. So that's exactly what's happening. I told you guys, look above, fail, boom, 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 boom. The target is 73.91. So we're now at 74.21. just use the levels, right? So overnight inventory was 97% short, and we corrected inventory before the open. So when the market in fact actually opened, it started to sell off, right? That's the market trying to tell us something, right? Now, as we get up to that overnight low, they're going to be sellers. Woo! There they are, right? There's that 29 seller. Then they're going to sell the 32s. Make sure you sell into strength, my friends. Right? If you are long 25, 23, 24, sell them like you stole them, right? Right? If you're looking for the look above, below and fail of the overnight low, once it accepts, off you go. You know, you can buy the 31s, stop 30, sell 33, 34, right? Exactly, Elsie, right? We do have a gap. Now, wouldn't it be a kick in the head if we go and fill that gap a little later on? How many people do you think will screw up? That'll mess up everybody. It wouldn't surprise me in this market. It wouldn't surprise me at all. This market's nuts. But we finally got some liquidation. Man alive. It like took forever. I feel happy for those who were position short. They finally get to cover. You know, with some dignity, they can buy back their positions. Right? What an undignified way to lose money is getting caught short at 73.91 to have this thing ripped to 7,500. Right? It's like a slap in the face. Sellers at 40. Just let them clean it up here. No rush. How are you guys doing? You awake? Let me check on the YouTube gang. You have DC. That was exactly a bezel. You have very, very good hearing. Do I have a trick to identify price exploration? Price exploration, if you can think of it, the simple way to do it, right, is when you take out, say, an overnight low or a previous day low. Price exploration is just a fancy ass way of saying you don't know where the buying is going to come in. So the price is going to explore down. And what's it exploring for? It's looking for the bid. When it finds the bid, they will yank the price up to try and get those buyers to pay more. Right? Do we take Apple Pay? We don't, but that's a good suggestion. You guys use that quite a bit, right? We can do PayPal. Just DM me. We'll figure out a way. We'll look after you. But honestly, I think between me and Steve, we're too cheap to afford to pay for Apple products. I haven't had an iPhone since the iPhone 3. And then when it bricked on me, I got mad at the company. I just like, I'm not going to buy those any more of these. So there's 41. There's our seller. Oh, there is an Apple Pay option. Let me ask Steve, okay, because he handles all the billing. I'm too irresponsible to handle the billing, right? So Steve does all the hard work. Back up over 41. There's going to be sellers at this 40 or 50, 51, even up here at 54. Target is VWAP at 55. Look below and fail was a nice trade. Nice. Just always make sure you sell into strength. Alrighty, what's the next order of business? Now, if enough people are short under 41, we're going to push right back up to those 52s. Let's see, right? So why do I say that? Because what happens on a liquidation, when you get a liquidation, the shorts come in and cover, then wholesale longs, and then us. This is what we call the smart money shorts because they come in and they cover. They do so because they need to buy size. Now, here, and here, you get the dumb money shorts. They short, they add. When it gets here, they're like, uh-oh, we got to cover, and that's why you get those big green candles, right? And it's the same sequence every single time. There's 50, where'd we get 51? See, this is all short covering. These big green candles are caused by the people who have shorted underneath. And they all go running in to cover at the same time. And all the product is owned here. So the people who own it, they just yank the price up. Because these are what we call desperation candles, right? Just like this big red one was a desperation sell, right? So right back up to 51. Now let's go back and see if we can hold the 44, 42 level. So Aaron, did that explain the price exploration thing? Market people always have fancy names for everything. right? So price exploration means is just a very fancy way of saying we don't know what's going to happen. So when you break a low, we have no idea what's going to happen down here. So we always say price is exploring lower. There's that 41 we were talking about. Now let's see if we come back into this cost basis again, right? On market profile, you can see the cost basis here, and there's the overnight cost basis, right? Is it still A period? It is. Oh my God. Well, that was a long half hour. Lots of action. See, folks, you always remember that stock market people will always try and overcomplicate everything, especially in their descriptions and their verbiage. Everything, they'll have fancy ways of saying things. And don't take this the wrong way, but I really believe that's done intentionally to keep people confused. And that's why we try and strip away all of that in our room. And that's the basis of my teaching, is to strip away all that fancy double talk that market people love to use, you know, and give you the straight goods because markets have been around for thousands of years. Screen-based trading only really started after Windows 95, right? Before Windows 95, try charting on Windows 3.1. Didn't work too well, did it? Right? So people used to have to trade just with a ticker, no charts. You talk to those traders from the 70s and the 80s, they would draw their charts at night by hand. Can you imagine? Yeah, now this chop. What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? No, in Windows 95 there was no software. Like Windows 98, 99, that's when it started. The whole electronic trading thing started with a company called Knight Securities. In the old days, we used to have to call our market makers and put the trades in. They would enter their trades on a NASDAQ level 3 machine, right? Then Knight Securities came up with this thing called eNight, where they would run a data feed up to Canada where we were, and you could actually put orders in on the computer. And that was around 1998, 1999. As the internet started getting more developed, companies like Charles Schwab, Muriel Siebert, the E-Trades of the world, they all started kind of popping up, right? I remember when I was sitting on the trade desk, the guy who took futures orders, clients would call in and put their futures orders in over the phone. So if you wanted to buy 7432, you'd go buy one E-mini 7432 to open, which means you're opening a position long, and then you'd sell it and you'd say, sell it, at market or whatever to close, right? And we'd have to call New York or Chicago to facilitate those trades. So it would take forever to put in a trade and take forever to get a cancel. It would take forever to get a fill because everything was done over the phone. Now it's just click, click, click. So much easier. One of the first direct access trading programs for retail was called DAS Trader. And I think that was 2001 or 2002 they popped up. And I remember helping the guys configure their level 2. Good bunch of guys. And I used DAS Trader quite a bit. It was great. Direct access software because you could route orders. I would be able to route orders to 6 market makers electronically without having to pick up the phone. It was wonderful. When I started in 95, 96, we didn't have dynamic level 2. So to refresh your level 2, you had to keep hitting enter over and over and again. And it would break it would break keyboards because everyone was just hammering on that enter button. It was hilarious. Yeah, that's was. I mean, it depends what brokerage firm you were hooked up with, Kevin. I used to use Lightspeed out of New York. Great crew. Back in the days, it was called Noble Trading. Great crew. Really good bunch of guys. They'd clear my stock certificate in 3 days. I'd drop off a stock cert, FedEx it to New York. 3, 4 days, I'd be able to start selling stock. It was beautiful. Nice. Well done, Burb. Well done. Well, it's getting a little slow, right? Lots of volume just under 34. Now, with this new half-hour bar opening, I want to see if we can hold the overnight low. It's okay, Aaron. It's good to take a break on Fridays. It's always nice to make a little money on a Friday and stop, right? The worst is losing money on a Friday, then you got to carry that anger through the whole weekend. So you make a little bit on a Friday, and if you were in Liverpool, we'd go to the pub. That's very good self-control. Yeah, Dash Trader was great, especially when you had a new client and they'd like, "Can you help me in my market?" And I'd be like, "Watch your screen," right? They'd watch their level 2, and I'd have like 16 bids come in like 30 seconds. I'd move every market maker around. They'd be like, "Holy crap, how'd you do that?" It's like, "Pay me and I'll tell you." Yeah, it's very good self-discipline, Aaron. Very good self-discipline. Yeah, that's smart, Jam. Take a break, right? In fact, if we were at a brokerage firm, this is exactly the time the coffee cart comes around. There's a lot to be said for psychological relief in this business. Not only do you have to protect your money and your capital in this business, but you have to protect your sanity because this business will just destroy your sanity and it'll destroy your health. So learning when to step away is very, very important. Not much to do here. We're only 8 minutes, 9 minutes into this second half-hour bar. I'd really like to see if that B low can take out the overnight low. Point of control moved up a little bit. It is creeping a little higher there, Ronan. I'd say, just like we were talking before the open, a little bit position long. If you are, if we pop the 44 area, 44, 45, sell into strength, right? I'm not long right now. In fact, I had a really good morning, which is, considering I've been sick for the last month, I spent really all week trying to get my chops back. And I was trading really, really small and very conservatively. I had a good day today, so I'm just going to take it a little easy. Oh, I'm supposed to mention, right? The $10 tournament to win hundreds is a good way to protect your trading accounts while learning or risking any money, right? So we do, if you're in the room, Steve's doing these giveaways and things like that. You know, you spend $10 and you can win 500. It's good. It's good. Good, healthy competition. The other thing is now that I'm back, my voice is almost back to normal. What we're going to do next week is we're going to do a thing where we're going to get, someone who's just joined the room. We're going to give away a coaching session, a one-on-one coaching session with me. So I was trying to do that last month, but I got sick and I lost my voice. So it would have been a pretty crappy coaching session. So if you guys are interested, come check us out in the room. Well, we only charge $19. So if you pay $90 and you win a coaching session or you win some money trading, if you win $500, it pays for the whole year. Yeah, man. I mean, really, the last 4 or 5 weeks, it sounded like I had cotton balls or marbles in my mouth. It was horrible. Just horrible. So I finally got the voice back. Not 100%, but almost. So very happy about that. There's that seller at, where's that, 40, 43 and 3/4? And if you mark off where the sellers were before, they'll be there again. You see? That's why I marked them here, right? And as you climb up, there'll be sellers at the top of the candles where they initiated before. You know, the top of the candle is where the sellers start to compete. And I'm selling like 43 and 3/4. Hex will sell 43 and a half. Chadwick will sell 42. Ronan will sell 41. So that's why price gets pushed down. Then when we all see buyers, we all raise the price at the same time. And now with algos, you can see how efficient it is. Everything happens so quickly. But if you know where the sellers are, had you been long, say 38, and there's a seller at 44, sell 42, 43. Take 3, 4 points. Pay yourself. Our goal is to see you guys get paid. And ladies, right? We want to see you get paid. Every time a retail trader makes money, a market maker gets his wings, Remember that. First place is over $400 in today's daily cash tournament with only a $10 buy-in, right? Incentivize you guys a little bit. All right. Remember what we said? The destination is VWAP. Now, my friends, let's zoom out a little bit, okay? I'm going to get rid of these cell lines. If we can put a position together here, if we get enough people short here, remember how it popped last time? If we can get enough people shorting in here, we'll pop and we'll go sell it up here. We'll take this cheap stuff and we'll go sell it up here. Remember, inventory is still short. Inventory is still short. We have not had any kind of correction. Yesterday's low is up here at 74.80. If we accept over 74.64, if we get over VWAP and stay over VWAP, right? Don't be surprised if we get a gap fill. Okay? Don't be surprised. Because this market is still, despite what everybody thinks, is still trading at all-time highs. Okay? The destination trade on this 75.11 short was 73.91. We got down to 74.21 quarter. Okay? So the theory about rotation, look above and fail. This is the destination. If you don't get to that destination today, tomorrow, over the next couple of days, you'll get rotation back up. Okay? Markets rotate down to find buyers, and they rotate up to find sellers. Simple mechanics. Boom, there's VWAP. Told you. Have a great weekend, Mike. Have a wonderful and safe weekend. There's VWAP, our old friend. Let's see where the next sellers are going to be. Oh, yeah, they're going to be up here. Next seller will be, if we can stay above VWAP, you're looking for sellers in that 74.59.60 area. Right? And that's only 20 points away from yesterday's low. Yeah, 73 would be the top of my balance, Elsie. Yeah. See if we can go and tag the open. Look at this. Beautiful rep. Right? Decent trading today. I did my weekly profit really today. A little bit yesterday and today. I traded sold small from Monday until Thursday. Because when you don't trade active, like when you're sick and you start trading again, you're like, you're a little hesitant, you know? Yeah. Today's the 15th, eh? Wow, mid-month already. Amazing. Time just goes so fast. So quick. Any questions? Got 11 minutes left. And that's why overnight inventory is important. Because even though we didn't correct it right away, if inventory is short and you are trading at all-time highs, generally a market's not going to go from trend up over 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 days. It's not going to go from, what you guys call a bull market to a bear market overnight. Unless, something really crazy happens, right? It doesn't just flame out. You get a liquidation break. Now, the problem with liquidation breaks in this market, the ranges are massive, right? So you see a 60, 70 point liquidation break, right, where the market's basically taking a breather, and everybody thinks it's the end of the world, and they go and short it. Look how we took out the A high there, right? They go and short the crap out of it at the lows, right? They're looking for, 7,200, and then right back up. Because when you liquidate at an all-time high, you're doing two things. You flush out the weak-handed traders, right? And you trap a lot of new shorts. OTFU means one time framing up, which is a fancy way of saying trend up, which is a fancy way of saying every candle low is higher. It's a market profile thing. Market profile term, right? There's 63. Nice. Lots of short covering here. Position is underneath 48. Elsie, are we allowed to post that thing from Peter? Just check, okay? Because I don't want you to get into trouble. I think last time we talked to him, he said it was okay. We're looking for 68 and change here. Yeah, I know it's been a few years. That's why I just want to check. Don't want to ruffle any feathers, you know what I mean? What we should do is we should take the glossary of terms and we should take the glossary of terms and then put it into like street language, right? Okay, this is the fancy term. This is what it really means. This is just a really fancy way of saying this. I think that will help people. Nice work, Beethoven. Is that Beethoven like the composer or Beethoven like the Saint Bernard? Or neither? Looking, we're creeping up on LC 73. Yeah, that's a good idea. Hey, Arkroy, how you doing? Good to see you. Oh, Friday, Friday, Friday. When I think of Beethoven, I think either the composer or the St. Bernard? Oh, you're a bass player. Cool. Oh. Now, wouldn't be a kicker if we got single prints as we go into the next period? Look at the bids coming in at 74.63. Amazing. Oh, cool, cool. Yeah, the problem is when you're size short and you realize the supply's gone, and then you realize that everybody else is trying to cover, ugh, it's just like everyone's just stepping all over each other to try and buy product. We could use another little liquidation back down to VWAP now to kind of balance this out. That would be handy. Right now the shorts are trapped underneath 62. So as the market comes down to 62, you'll see bids. There's the bid. And if we overwhelm that bid, we'll come back down to the open. Just above VWAP. There we go. This is healthy. Back and forth is good. Back and forth is healthy. That's a healthy market. Dropping into that the open of the morning. There we go. Tag. Next stop will be VWAP. Nice work, Chadwick. Nice work. Yeah, it's good. It's good to relieve that short pressure in the market, Liquidations are healthy. Otherwise, when markets keep going higher and higher and higher, they get just ridiculously dangerous. And nobody wants to play the higher it gets. Let's go look at Crab Apple. Wow, Apple up again today. How's Leather Jacket Guy? Oh, hey, look above set 234. A red candle in NVIDIA. Filled the gap. Healthy, healthy, healthy. AMD, little liquidation. Corning, I need to redo those levels. Should have bought that stock at 40 bucks, man. Microsoft in balance. Tesla. Let's see if it holds at 422. What else are we looking at? Good, there's a little bit of a pullback in the market, which is nice to see. Amazon hit that 277, look above and fail, back down. How's good old Google? Google can't kill that thing. SML. Man, that thing gaps up and down. Be hard to position trade that. Intel liquidation, nice, nice. We got some good liquidation. That's healthy. Good to see. And we're already back underneath VWAP. Good, 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 good. Nice rotations. Beautiful. Hey, Matt. Yeah, exactly. Okay, my friends. Any questions, concerns? Want to once again invite you all to come check out our room at the Trading Syndicate. I'm going to start shutting her down, let you guys go a couple of minutes early here. Thank you so much for being with us today. We really appreciate it. Have a wonderful and safe weekend. Okay? And we will see you bright and early on Monday morning. 7, I think I'm going to start going back to, I'll probably do like 7:30, 7:45, somewhere in there. AM UK time, which is like 2:30 in the morning, 2:45 New York time for our London Globex session. And then we do another session every day at around 9:15 a.m. Eastern time. 15 minutes before the New York Open. Thank you so much for being with us this week. We really appreciate you. Come learn how to trade. I'll be in the room all weekend. I'll start doing weekend updates again. Got to start doing a bit more work now that I'm getting my voice back. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful weekend. Be safe out there. And we appreciate you. If you need anything, reach out. I'm vwaptrader1 on X. And we look forward to chatting with you. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone. Bye for now.